We're in this place, I think it's called Wiston Lodge, and we're having a fathers and sons weekend, and we're doing lots of different activities to just meet new people and stuff.
A few of us just wanted an opportunity to get out into the wild, into the great outdoors with our sons and see what happened, see what magic could happen around campfires, away from the screens, our own screens as much as our kids' screens, just out in nature, sitting around the fire and encouraging one another and telling stories and telling jokes and having a laugh.
Tries too hard to be funny, and it's not funny.
And he tells these really cruel jokes.
Yeah, he's just not good with humour.
And he thinks he is.
Like his warm belly. He makes nice food, especially nice burritos. Good burritos.
You know, they're always saying this is boring in this life and they need this, but then once you give them 5 minutes, they quickly come up with an idea of doing something that isn't boring, that doesn't involve modern technology and involves interacting and being silly.
It's great. I mean, the amount of energy and life they bring to the house is fantastic. I think it's much simpler, actually, being the dad of 3 boys. Yeah, I mean, what amazes me is that they spend so much time playing with each other. You know, they don't play with toys a lot. They just spend time on a trampoline, kicking a football around.
Interestingly, just at the moment, particularly as Ben is growing up, is realising that he's growing up as I'm growing older. So I'm noticing the change in energy, and it's like my energy and stuff is coming down as his is coming up. And I'm recognising there's going to be a point in the not too distant future where that becomes really, really apparent.
I'm quite lucky, I've worked flexibly, I've had a daddy daycare Monday, and what I really enjoyed was taking these kids when they were toddlers swimming, and later on baking with them on the Mondays, being there to play at the play parks and do silly things like lightsaber fights. And that's all down to that, being able to work flexibly and to have understanding employers.
I get a huge amount from spending time with my boys, and I learn a huge amount from them. And I get a lot of pleasure from spending time with them and from watching them grow and watching them become young men, really, which over the last couple of years has it's been a phenomenal privilege, really.
Yeah, when my dad was around, being present at the birth was something quite unusual. I think dads now are present very early. They can get hands-on, change nappies, do all the practical things like bathing kids, feeding kids, which was seen as a woman's role. I think now with gender equality, we believe that each person can contribute fairly and can do different things and get the joy out of doing the simple things in life.
I think dads get shortchanged quite a lot, and I think they can in some ways end up kind of living up to that almost predetermined stereotype. And in my experience, when you get a group of guys together and they're with their kids on their own, that changes very, very quickly. And it's all too easy if it's a mixed group to kind of strangely try and follow those stereotypes, but recognising actually it isn't true in reality. It's a bit weird, really. Dad takes his boys away for the weekend, or they're going to live on, baked beans and sausages and things like that, and the kids are going to come home completely dirty and unkempt and tired and having had way too much sugar and way too little sleep. and probably learn some naughty words and inappropriate jokes along the way. And I just think it's not the case.
Society's changed a lot in terms of family makeup, and for a lot of guys I think changes have been quite difficult, and in our case I've always lived somewhere different from Gregor, so there's a lot of difficulties, but you make the best of what you can, and I think that's try to be positive in what is otherwise difficult situations is the most important message for a lot of dads out there. Keeping the children at the forefront, which most dads do, but not get caught up in too much of the complexities and negativities that they can get into with the other parent.
My dad lived in a different environment post-Second World War and used to being in the outside, so he loves to do practical things as a grandparent, you know, showing people's axes, showing people how to chop up things, really practical skills, which I think some way I've lost some of them real practical things, how to fix my car and fix bikes. So my dad's taught me about the strength that I can learn and can continue learning. Mm-hmm. So I gain inspiration from my dad to be a better dad to my children.
If we want to tease Ben, we will decide that both of us will offer something for him to do. Which is one's a nice thing with Mum, and one's a nice thing with me, and watch him struggle with it. A bit mean like that.
There's a lot of favourite moments. Laughter, I think, is the best thing, because bizarrely, I don't know if it's always deliberate, but I get a lot of laughs from time spent with Gregor.
So I really object to the certificate 15 rating of Life of Brian, okay, and as you know, none of my boys are over 15, but having seen the film 30 times myself, I thought I knew it well enough to sit alongside
Monty Python and the Holy Grail was
watch it.
really cool too.
But yeah, no, so they knew all the sketches already, didn't you guys, before you actually watched the film?
Yeah,
we watched it. Watching it, oh, 3 or 4 weeks ago, for the first time ever. It was a big,
That was a year.
big deal for me, actually.
2 months ago, Dad. Half a denari for an old ex-leper.
That's right. Half a denari for my whole life story. Some people are never happy. That's just what Jesus said, sir. You can all think for yourselves. Yes, we can all think for ourselves.
I can't.
It's just like, shut up.
Dad, you have to be nice to me, because in 30 years I'll be paying for your care home.